I am here with Nick and Jack from Wang Chung. Guys, I'm really excited to be with both of you here today. And we're here at SLO Brew in San Luis Obispo. And I was talking to you before the show about if you have ever played in SLO. And it sounds like this is maybe a first, a world premiere here in San Luis.
I think it is. I'm the worst for remembering anything. So, but Nick's more encyclopedic.
I think we have played here, but I can't remember when. Yeah. But it was many, many years ago before all of you were born.
Okay, all right. So we'll have to have all of our diligent researchers out there, our team of crack journalists, investigate that. And we'll post it on your Facebook page. So
to report on our desk by 7:30.
I think everybody's familiar with your amazing sort of iconic influence in 80s music, particularly. I know you have obviously even contemporarily been coming out with some great stuff. But you all started back in 1979, 1980, somewhere thereabouts?
The time that Nick and I started working together, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I met Nick through an advert in the Melody Maker, which was a music paper in the UK. Yeah. He put in a musician's wanted ad, which I answered because it was an impressive looking ad.
Okay.
And
were you glad with what you got?
No, I mean, most of it was terrible, but he was great. I mean, I was very pleased with him, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And when you all started, I'm sure this comes up in every single interview, and I don't want to be that guy that always asks the same question, but when you started out, of course, your name was a little bit different phonetically, Wang Chung, right? Yeah. And that meant yellow bell in Mandarin or in Chinese, is that?
Yeah. The idea was that it wasn't a rock and roll name. Any Chinese, even Wang Chung gives you no idea of the music that you're about to experience, does it? And we wanted to create a space with the name, really. So the whole idea of what it means wasn't really the important thing. It was how it kind of like maybe wrong-footed you or just sort of created that space.
Gotcha. So me even asking that question is kind of a violation of the intent of the name. I will take back my question.
The most asked question in the history of mankind. And if we're going to have a silly name like Wang Chung, then we're going to get asked it. So we're not complaining about it.
Who shot JFK? Who was behind 9/11? And what does Wang Chung mean, right? Those are the three epic questions. Well, I get what you're saying about kind of a tabula rasa, a blank slate, where people can kind of project onto it what they think or what they feel.
Tabula rasa.
Should
Yeah.
have called the band that.
Should have done, yeah.
Rasa,
Yeah, it's been much easier to answer what it meant.
no, Wang Chung.
Yellow bell, yeah. Yeah.
Well, maybe if you guys let me join your band, we can call ourselves tabula rasa. I can play the bongo, so okay. Yes, nice. Well, guys, a couple other things I want to talk to you about, of course, your latest album, and I again being a huge '80s music fan. I mean, your music is just so iconic. Every time I hear your any of your songs, I just get this feeling, and it kind of takes me back to the '80s, and it's such a great thing. And really looking forward to tonight's show. You all, according to my team of journalistic researchers, have played with an amazing number of artists through the years. The Cars, the Romantics, and then most lately, a lot of like 80s revival shows with Missing Persons, Flock of Seagulls. ABC, yes, wonderful. What are some of the highlights, from back in the day, of some like epic concerts where maybe you played with some other artists that you really admired, things like that?
We played with the Human League, actually. We toured with them in about 82, I think it was.
Or just come out. Yeah. It was very great. Yeah, I love that record. Still love that record.
Yes.
We played with Elton John, didn't we, at Wembley Stadium in '84 to about 90,000 people. I was just talking in the car with our tour manager about we played with what you call the English Beat. They were called the Beat.
Yep,
we played with them a couple of times.
It's quite interesting because we were touring most recently with the Fix, and we were reminiscing about the fact that there was a place in London, a club in South London called the 101 Club, who used to record the band's gigs, and they released an album which had 3 Fix tunes on it and 3 Wang Chung tunes on it. Wow. So we do go back a long way, and I think, and you were reflecting as well about doing these gigs with U2, where they were far from top of the bill and stuff,
Yeah, and, we played at LSE, just the London School of Economics, where Mick Jagger used to go, actually. And where else did we play? And some Gateshead Festival. Well, I think you two were like 3rd on the bill, and we were 4th, and the head of the bill was, I think, Elvis Costello and Ian Jury and stuff. And the Blockheads, of course, who we loved.
Absolutely adore that
He called us
band.
the Wang Chung Noodles. Thanks to the Wang Chung Noodles, I remember him saying.
Well, that's better than I read online that some folks back in the day, part of the name change, folks were calling you for a while Chung. Is that true? People mispronouncing the original phonetic?
Yeah, we went through all of that thing. Yeah. I mean, part of the reason why we're going to change the name completely, like have a proper English name. Okay. So we wouldn't have to keep answering this question, But David Geffen said, no, the name's good, you should stick with it, but respell it with a W, so it's less intimidating. Okay. Well, he didn't say that, but I think that's what he meant. Yeah.
Well, you guys kind of bridged the Occidental and the Oriental there with that name.
That's an important sign of decadence, I think. So, and I think the 80s had a decadent side.
Definitely. And you guys toured with Tina Turner. That must have been pretty epic too.
It was, yeah. I mean, Tina kept herself to herself, we have to say. We saw her one night, I think. So she came and hung out a little in a quite applied sort of way. But, she was, this is what, 87, 88?
87,
yeah. So, she's been around the block enough to not want to be sitting around the dressing room with Wang Chung.
Exactly. Well, she did a bit, didn't she? She said she hypnotised me, I seem to remember. But we were playing the Enorma Domes, it was the massive venues that we were playing. And it was great. We loved it. We had a good time.
Her band were lovely as well. And they always gave us a easy time. And we got sound checks and stuff, which when you're that support slot, don't always get that. And both with the Cars and Tina Turner, we had big hits at the time. So these stadiums were pretty full when we were on. It wasn't like everyone was in the bar. So it was a pretty intense experience.
I would have killed. I was a little young. My parents didn't bring me to concerts, particularly in England and whatnot. But I would have killed to have been there in the audience during that time. One of the things, in talking to other music lovers about Wang Chung, the other thing that often comes up in conversation is how how many times either your music or your name gets name dropped in media. And I saw some press kit information from your publicist talking about all the different media references through the years. And even contemporary shows, Breaking Bad, Beavis and Butthead, probably riffing on a video a little bit. And of course, the iconic Cheers reference with Frasier.
Everybody have fun tonight. Everybody Wang Chung tonight.
Just classic. And
it's got some really big ones, yeah.
If you go to our website, www.wangchung.com, you can see these two kind of collections of clips where the Wang Chung name is dropped, and it is amazing how often it happens, how high profile all the shows are that use it, and it's really cool. The name worked out in the end.
I think it did. It really stood out. Let's talk a little bit about your latest album, Taser Up, which I've heard, and it's really cool. I really like it. I actually really like the remix of Dance All Days, and then the kind of the feature video off of it was very impressive too. Just really cool computer animation. Tell us a little bit about the making of Taser Up. What because that was your first studio album in many years, right?
It was, yeah. I mean, essentially, Nick and I started working together as Wang Chung around 2006-07, and we did the Regeneration tour in 2009 with ABC. And coming out here again and doing a tour like that, we realised, not having an album out was kind of mad, So, and we were working on an album at that time and had lots of songs lying around, So we just developed it, and I think, we had a conscious sense that we wanted to make a record that really was a Wang Chung album, that wasn't just a sort of random set of songs, And so we were sort of thinking about, synths and drum machines, vocals, electric guitars, but not so much drum loops and the sort of modern stuff. And we don't use auto-tune and all of that stuff. Good. So there's a sort of levels of authenticity to it, But then there's also, of course, with us, levels of inauthenticity, where we do use drum loops. But
So Wang Chung didn't. Everything within reason, right?
Yeah, I think all these sort of artistic kind of markers are great, but it's important to contradict yourself.
So in other words, you all didn't sell out with the new album and tried to remain consistent with the sort of the Wang Chung sound, so to speak.
I think what we're pleased about is that the reviews are universally great, and practically everyone says, it sounds really contemporary, but it really sounds like a Wang Chung album, and that was the goal, to really blend those two things.
Back to the Future.
There's a track on it called Abducted by the 80s, which is in a way the sort of thematic heart of the record.
So anything else you all are going to be touring here in the near future? Any other sort of developments, folks, things that fans want to check out and stay updated about Wang Chung developments?
Yeah. Well, just check out our Facebook and our Twitter and wangchung.com. And
Facebook is Wang Chung Band, isn't it?
Yeah. And we're definitely planning to do some more live stuff over here. and we're also going to be putting some more recorded stuff out before. We don't know quite when, but we've already got quite a lot recorded, so it won't be that long.
Yeah.
Some stuff like in the vaults, maybe that hasn't seen the light of day, and
Some new stuff, it'll be like a sort of follow-up to Taser Up, But we've also been talking about the fact that both Nick and I have a couple of albums that didn't come out right after we split Wang Chung.
I had read that. Yeah, that some studio things that just never really were released.
Let's talk about doing that. And then there's a whole slew of sort of outtakes and tracks. Slurry. Yeah. Did you? Yeah.
Well, when we were interviewing Dave Wakeling, he actually was just coming out with the Complete Beatbox collection, and that was kind of a reissue of old material, and it had a lot of things like B-side versions of things, live cuts, unreleased stuff. So maybe there's something like that that we can expect for Wang Chung.
Yeah,
We went through it all sort of, I don't know, a year or so ago, and it was some really good. We were kind of, oh, this is really good. So there's loads of great stuff.
Yeah. So it's just timing with all these things, because obviously the temptation in a way with the internet is just to bosh it all out there,
Yeah.
But old school thinking is that you make a splash with it and, incrementally move forward. So that's what we're going to do.
All right, sounds exciting. All right, well, you all out there, definitely stay abreast with Wang Chung and all the things that are going on. Check out the website, the Facebook page. And guys, I wish you the best of luck, and it was a real honor to get to finally meet you and interview you. So thanks again for your time. Thank you.
Thanks, Jason.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for coming in. Thank you.